this is my first Christmas installment for this year, my first Christmas makeup, and to be honest I was getting really bored with the toned down makeups I've been doing since Halloween, since the Halloween madness, so it's definitely time for me to start doing something a bit more fun again, and this is the start of it, and I really like this one. It's definitely a party look. So, I mean, you can adjust it to suit yourselves if it's too much, or you can leave elements out, but I really like it. And there's just two things I want to talk about really quickly before the tutorial starts. Is number one is I have to apologise for the lighting. I'm relying completely on daylight at the moment, which isn't really doing me much good because I'm getting very little light into the apartment and blah 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 excuses, but I just don't have that much light to rely on, and I don't have proper artificial lighting, which I will have to sort out at some stage when I can. And then number two, in case you're wondering about the grew wig, it's I'm in the middle, it's in transition at the moment. I'm in the middle of lifting it. My blonde streak that I already had at the back, I decided just to bring it forward and connect it to the front. So I lifted it once yesterday, and I just have to lift it once again today, later on, and then I'm going to tone it. So hopefully it should look better once I've that done, assuming it doesn't fall out, so fingers crossed that doesn't happen. And yeah, besides that, if you want to watch on to see how this is done, just watch the rest of the video, and I'll be seeing these for way more Christmas looks from now on, as like tomorrow's the 1st of December, so it'll be pretty much like that till after Christmas. First step, I'm using MAC's Rubenesque paint pot, and for my eyelids I just put the foundation over them when I was doing the rest of my face, and then a little bit of concealer then to take away any of the colour. And then you don't want to powder when you're using a cream base, so you just pop the Rubenesque then straight over, or whatever cream base you're using, straight over the concealer, and just blend it around with your fingers. You can use a brush if you want, but this finger seriously is okay for this. And for my main lid colour, I'm using this MAC eyeshadow. It is the Mayhem Mineralized Eyeshadow Duo. It's from the Christmas collection, Magic Mirth and Mayhem, Mischief. I always say Mayhem. Magic Mirth and Mischief collection. So I'm going to apply that onto the inner part of my eyelid and the outer part of my eyelid, but leave the centre alone. And just do the same in both eyes, so you don't have to be overly neat because I'll be blending around it with different colours. I'm just using a generic lay down brush, it's my manicure one. Doesn't really matter, I just want to get the colour down there. Okay, so I've skipped ahead because camera issues, but for the centre part, which is the silver, I got a little bit of a mix and medium. This is the eyeliner one, and popped a little bit on the back of my hand and just dipped my finger in it, so there was a little bit on my finger, and I just placed it on the centre of my eyelid. This was just to give a bit of a tacky base. You can use a clear mascara if you want, if you don't have that. And then I just got the duo again, wiggled a brush in it. You have to kind of wiggle in this one because the bits are so bitty, or the eyeshadow is so bitty, and then just pressed it against where the mix and medium was, and just keep pressing until you get enough on, so it gives you that kind of effect. And it just kind of, you don't really need to blend it, it kind of just blends itself. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing under the eyes. So I'm just going to apply the gold to the outer and inner corners, and then a bit of the silver underneath, and then I'll be back for the crease work. I'm using a MAC colour again for the highlight. It's called Nylon. It's an extremely paled gold. Not for the highlight, well, kind of for the inner corner highlight. So just use that to blend out the gold. Because it is quite a brassy gold, so it doesn't really fade out by itself. So this looks much more pearl, I think, on camera, but it's fine. Then for my actual brow highlight, I'm using the Everyday Minerals pigment called Queen Anne's Lace, which is a really nice neutral kind of satin finish pigment. And it's not overly shiny, so that's why I quite like it, considering there's so much going on down in the eyelid area. So just apply that under both the eyebrows. Then for the initial crease colour, I'm using an RCMA eye colour. RCMA are the Research Council of Makeup Artists. It's an American based brand, and it's this one here. It's just called Midnight Brown. So I'm just going to swirl quite a small brush. It's my Bobbi Brown ultra fine eyeliner, and I'm just going to start drawing in above the crease. Okay, not that far above. So when you have your crease colour drawn in, start blending it out with a blending brush. And just soften all around the edges. For my face 2 palette, I'm going to use this it's a really rich dark brown with gold reflex. And I'm just going to work that into the base of the crease. And then just blend it out. And then I'm going to bring it underneath a little bit here as well. And then just kind of drag it over a little bit onto the corner of the eyelid. You're going to get a good bit of fallout from the silver just because it's so bitty, but that's fine. I didn't powder after my foundation. I always leave that to last when I'm doing these kind of looks. I'm going to use a little bit of this highlight from the same palette and just lightly run that along the edge of the brown. It'll help soften the outline a bit. And I'm just going to reapply a little bit of the nylon in there where it meets the brown. Just going to blend it. So it's a black shadow on an angled brush, and then lay it down against the outer half of your eyelid, and then kind of when you get to the center part, you're just going to bring it straight out, so it really lifts up the eye. You can see there it's pretty much a straight line. This is a good trick for anyone who wants to kind of get a bit more of that cat-eyed look. I mean, generally with this, you really kind of need something for it to blend into. That's why it's good to have such dark shadow on the outer part. And then when I get here, instead of having the brush with the point inwards, I twist it so that it's on the outside, and then just flick it up, and that helps blend it a bit. So just make sure that your eyes are relatively even. Bring a tiny bit underneath, just very, very much into the lash line. And then flick a little bit in the outer corner again and blend as you need to. At this stage then, add black to your waterline if that's what you want to do. I wouldn't wear this look without black in the waterline personally. I just prefer what it does to my eye shape. And then tight line, which is just adding it to the top waterline as well. I'm not bringing it into the inner kind of C shape because it tends to kind of get a bit gloopy after a few hours wearing it there and it gets messy. So I just kind of stop it just past where my lashes stop growing. That was Lord & Berry pencil I used there for the waterline. So now I'm just going to add some mascara. Top and bottom lashes. And kind of pull the lashes out. It's a good idea to coat the top of the lashes as well. So brush down and then brush them up quickly. Especially if you have fair lashes, I think it's really important to do that, to coat both sides. At this stage, I'm going to start adding a few false lashes. These are the individual lashes, and I'm just going to apply them onto the outer kind of half of my eyelids and put them in the direction so that they're sweeping out that way. So I'm going to do that off camera because they'll be a bit fiddly to do on camera, and then I'll be back once they're done and dry. Okay, now when you have the lashes on, and you can see they're all sweeping out towards the outside, and now it's time to get your gems. So I just have a few in a stacking pot here, so I'm just going to get 2, and these ones are the bigger sized ones, and get a wee bit of clear eyelash glue. So that's the white one. Ooh, where's my tweezers? That's the white one that dries clear. So I'm just going to take the lid off that, and then when you have your gem in the tweezers, get a little bit of the glue, like a tiny bit, and just put a little dot on the back of the gem so you can see there, so that it doesn't go the full size of the gem, because otherwise then it'll kind of go outside the gem when you put it on. Even though it dries clear, you can still kind of see it. So the same way with eyelash glue, let it go a tiny bit tacky, and then just pop it right on the center of the lid, like that, where the silver is. So pretty much in the center of the silver, like that. So I'm just going to do the same with the other eye. These smaller gems are the ones I'm using for underneath the lash line, the lower lash line, and these were just cheap ones I got from Claire's Accessories. It's supposed to be one of those crystal tattoos that you know, transfers directly onto your skin, which they never do. Glue is crap on them. So even though there is a bit of glue on them, I'm still putting a bit of latex on it. Latex glue, duo glue. You only want a little bit. And then let it go tacky, and just apply it directly underneath where the top one is. And then when it's there, kind of push it up so that it's right underneath the lashes. Okay, so I have powdered. I set my foundation using just a matte mineralize, then contoured and highlighted. For the highlight I just used the nylon again, and then I used a mineralize, where's it gone? A mineralize lip, what am I on about? A mineralize cheek colour, so it's Gentle Blush. So it's this one, it's that colour, so it's really nice. And that's what it looks like on. So I'm not 100%, I was in two minds about the lips, going between bright red and neutral, but I think I'm just going to stick with nude, so it doesn't detract from the eyes too much. So I'm going to whack them on and let you know what I use afterwards, and then just show you the final look. So this is the finished look. I decided to stick with the pinky nude, which I think was a good idea. I used my Bourjois Lila Sortilège, which is number 20. It's really old, so I don't know if they still do it, but it's actually one of my favourite nude lipsticks. And then for over it, I used this, it's a really old Screen Face lip glaze in Sun Shower. So it looks kind of gold in the container, but it actually comes out slightly pink. I don't know if you can see it at all, probably not. But I think everything just kind of works really well between the cheeks and the lips and the eyes and stuff. So I don't know, can you notice as well, there's actually a reflection that the gems are leaving on my upper lid, which is kind of cool. That's just because my eyes are so deep set, but I actually quite like it. I think it looks really class. So that's the end of the look, and yeah, I'll see you really soon for way more Christmas looks, and yeah, that's it. So I'll chat to you later, guys. Bye.